Chapter 138 The Strong Eat the Weak. The Law of the Jungle. Xiao, however, wasn't a normal two-ring Soul Master, as her cultivation had already reached rank 30. More importantly, she had the experience of participating in the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Soul Dueling Tournament, in addition to the consolidation during her previous closed-door cultivation. Furthermore, Huo Yuao's spiritual detection sharing was also supporting her. She had already begun to retreat the moment the Devil Tiger Cat pounced forward. She was a Tang Sect disciple, and she knew how to use the Ghost Shadow perplexing track. She constantly changed directions as she flew backwards swiftly while the spiritual detection determined the light blade's position the moment it was unleashed. Her body arched like a bow as she flew backwards and narrowly evaded the light blade. A series of crackling sounds could be heard wherever the light blade crossed, and a great many plants met their ends. Xiao broke out into a cold sweat even though she managed to dodge this attack. Fortunately, she wasn't the Devil Tiger Cat's target, as she wouldn't have avoided its attack so easily otherwise. At this moment, the 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat had arrived before Huo Yuao and Wang Dong. Purplish golden radiance flickered once more as brilliant light flames poured out from Huo Yuao's eyes. The Devil Tiger Cat's blood-red pupils also sparkled once following this shining outburst. It was apparent that it was aware of Huo Yuao's formidable spiritual type abilities from its child, and it wanted to use its own spiritual power to fight against Huo Yuao. However, the 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat soon realized its mistake, as Huo Yuao's target of choice was something else. The 1,000-year Devil Tiger Cat that was lying prostrate on the 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat's back was overflowing with murderous hostility, and lying eagerly in wait. TCH, its hide suddenly crackled like a melon being smashed open, and blood instantly poured out from the 7 apertures of its head. The blood trickled down and flowed all over the 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat's body. Huo Yuao didn't show a single ounce of mercy this time. The 1,000-year Devil Tiger Cat had already taken a hit from his spiritual shock before this, and its spiritual sea was already severely damaged. It had no preparation at all, and when took another all-out strike from Huo Yuao, its brain directly turned to mush. This was the law of the jungle. If my enemy wants to kill me, I have to kill my enemy first. There was only cold light in Huo Yuao's eyes. It hadn't been long since they had faced the 1,000-year Devil Tiger Cat, and then the 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat caught up with them shortly afterwards. However, his opinions had transformed drastically, because he realized that the peril they were mired in was because of their tender-heartedness. Those that weren't of the same species surely thought differently, and these were soul beasts. After all, this was an unchangeable fact. The 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat was shocked by the 1,000-year Devil Tiger Cat's death. It roared into the sky as it subconsciously turned back towards the 1,000-year Devil Tiger Cat, on its back. It had ultimately been alive for 10,000 years, and its innate ability allowed it to turn its body in midair at a time like this as it temporarily avoided Huo Yuao. However, both Huo Yuao and Wang Dong made a move at this moment. Vigorous blue, purple and golden light sparkled on their bodies. The golden rode amidst withering resplendence. They were guided by the spiritual detection sharing, and the 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat was also momentarily disoriented. This attack was aimed at a location that the Devil Tiger Cat was bound to cross. The brilliant golden road lit up a few hundred meters around them, and slammed directly against the 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat, which was immediately transformed into a golden sculpture, and plummeted downwards with its forward momentum. This was the first time they had used the golden road used against a soul beast, and its effect startled both Huo Yuao and Wang Dong. The cat's shadow seemed to depart from the 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat's body as it crashed against the ground. Motionless, the shadow quickly lunged towards the body on the ground. This is Huo Yuao and Wang Dong exchanged a look, and they both felt a little dumbfounded. This shadow surged into the Devil Tiger Cat's body within these 2 seconds, and the golden color on its body swiftly receded before it leapt to its feet once again. The 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat seemed a little wretched at this point. The golden road carried immense light power, and many charcoal black spots had appeared all over its fur from the corruption, while its powerful aura was also greatly diminished. It tossed its head from side to side, as if it was struggling against something. The 1,000-year Devil Tiger Cat dropped to the ground by its side, and a purple 1,000-year soul ring gradually took form. It was apparent that the golden road had a different effect on soul beasts than on soul masters. Huo Yuao had chosen this martial soul fusion skill because of the golden road's ability to control his opponent. However, the 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat exceeded his expectations in the end. It was moving too fast, and it flew out far away with its forward momentum despite taking a direct hit from the golden road. It was too far out of range for Huo Yuao and Wang Dong to chain their onslaught, while what happened afterwards bewildered them. The 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat was just vigorously shaking its head. It only recovered after a few seconds, and it immediately glanced towards the 1,000-year Devil Tiger Cat's corpse beside it. It roared furiously into the sky, and its blood-red eyes felt as if they were actually dripping with blood while it pounced towards Huo Yuao and Wang Dong once more. However, its speed was clearly a little slower than before. The Ninja Phoenix worshipping flute chimed continuously as it worked its slowing effect on the 10,000-year Devil Tiger Cat. Huo Yuao and Wang Dong couldn't be bothered about what exactly had happened with the changes that had just occurred to this soul beast, as they had to focus all their attention on this air of hostility that was charging towards them. The Devil Tiger Cat's fur suddenly turned emerald green, and a green radiance immediately expanded outwards. This expansion wasn't forceful, and only reached about a foot from it, but it appeared as if the Devil Tiger Cat's entire body was also expanding. It was initially a little more than a meter long, but as its entire sparkled with green light, it grew to the point where it was now more than 2 meters long. It also looked burlier than before, as if it were an actual fearsome tiger. Even the purring sounds from its mouth became more like a tiger's roar. The immense pressure made Huo Yuao and Wang Dong feel a little suffocated, and the enormous gap in their cultivations was apparent at this moment. This Devil Tiger Cat was similar in power to a Soul King after all, and its abilities were possibly also superior to those of a Soul King. Huo Yuao and Wang Dong had retreated quickly while the Devil Tiger Cat was vigorously tossing its head from side to side. Circle after circle of golden light emanated from Wang Dong's left arm, and both of them appeared to sparkle with golden luster. Howdom power amplified the golden light left arm bone's soul skill. Golden light, as the soul skill swiftly took effect, and the soul power they had consumed to power their martial soul fusion skill was restored with dazzling speed. Huo Yuao raised his left hand and fired a beam of light at the Devil Tiger Cat that was lunging towards him. He was pretty much locked onto his target with the spiritual detection sharing, and this beam was the soul paralysis ray. The soul paralysis ray's light accurately landed on the Devil Tiger Cat's body, or it could be said that the Devil Tiger Cat willingly collided against this beam. The dense green light around its body flickered, and the soul paralysis ray was actually diverted away from the green light that was protecting its body. The emerald green hues burst violently, and the Devil Tiger Cat's speed exploded once more as it arrived before Huo Yuao and Wang Dong in a flash. A sphere of light that was a foot in diameter rose into the sky. Huo Yuao shifted behind Wang Dong and grabbed onto Wang Dong's shoulders with both hands as they used the Ghost Shadow perplexing track at the same time. They moved with blinding speed as the Devil Tiger Cat smashed against that sphere of light. Uncountable rays of light surged in an instant, completely enveloping the Devil Tiger Cat's body within them. However, the Devil Tiger Cat had unleashed its origin skill, and it was truly fearsome. The golden rays of light seemed to dissipate immediately as they rushed into the layer of emerald green radiance that was protecting its body. The Devil Tiger Cat's body had been impeded in midair, and it couldn't continue its assault, but this moment only lasted about the time needed for 2 breaths. The rays of light were all dispelled, but the protective radiance on the Devil Tiger Cat's body appeared to have thinned a little. The Devil Tiger Cat's soul skill was similar to Dai Yueheng's White Tiger's shield, except this was just its first soul skill, and it boosted its attack, defense and speed. Wang Dong's Butterfly Goddess Slash was formidable, but he couldn't gain an advantage at all against the Devil Tiger Cat. However, Huo Yuao and Wang Dong changed their tactics once more with this moment's worth of hindrance to the Devil Tiger Cat. Huo Yuao was still standing behind Wang Dong as he channeled Howdong power into Wang Dong's body. Wang Dong raised his right arm and pointed his index finger at the Devil Tiger Cat, while his entire right arm began to glow. This was different from the circles displayed by his left arm's golden light. The radiance from his right arm was a concentration of sharp energies. Wang Dong's right arm pressed against the root of his left arm, and his left arm began to flicker with signs of golden light. 2 powerful soul bone skills were activated at the same time, and they boosted one another. He hadn't used the golden light when he had attacked with the Butterfly Goddess Slash because he was acutely aware that the Butterfly Goddess Slash worked on a single target, but it wasn't concentrated into a single point. The attack that he was unleashing at this moment was his most powerful strike. Together, Yuao, Wang Dong exclaimed as a sharp radiance drilled out from his right index finger. This beam was about 3 inches long, and its tip was pointed, while its root was thick like a finger. The golden light's hues were sparkling with lightning speed. Right before the Butterfly Goddess Slash was completely dispelled, the golden drill surged forth with lightning speed, and it went straight for the Devil Tiger Cat's forehead. Yes, Wang Dong's broken Devil of Light right arm bone had provided him this soul skill. Wang Dong named it the broken Devil of Light because he was lazy, and it instantly concentrated the power of light into a single point and launched an attack. It looked looked like a drill because Wang Dong's cultivation wasn't high enough, but it could become as thin as a needle as he became stronger, to the point where it would eventually become a thread of light. Wang Dong's cultivation transcended that of a soul ancestor with the Haodong power, and this was in addition to the support from his golden light. His light power was extremely effective against the dark type 10,000-year devil tiger cat. The devil tiger cat moved as well when Wang Dong attacked. It had cultivated for 10,000 years, and it was also extremely sensitive towards danger. It expanded its protective layer of green light at the first possible moment as it attempted to evade this strike. However, Hua Yuao's spiritual shock arrived right at this moment. The purplish golden light was fired out from over the top of Wang Dong's left shoulder. The devil tiger cat's cultivation was impressive, but its spiritual power still couldn't compare to Hua Yuao's. It grunted once as the purplish golden beam flickered, and it looked as if the shadow that had been forced out of its body by the golden road from before glimmered above its head once again, except it returned to its body instantly this time. However, this was enough, and the devil tiger cat's evasive movement was never completed. DCH. The broken devil of light drilled ruthlessly into the emerald green radiance. Wang Dong's most powerful strike was met with an immense defensive force as the emerald green radiance started to seethe like a layer of boiling oil. The green light congregated at the point where the devil tiger cat was being struck, as it no longer maintained its original protective form, and the devil tiger cat's body also plummeted to the ground. The broken devil of light gradually pierced deeper, while the devil tiger cat's layer of emerald light became more vigorous. The green radiance was slowly diminishing, but the golden light that was infused into the broken devil of light was also gradually withering away. Hua Yuao and Wang Dong couldn't help but be awed at the devil tiger cat's powerful soul skill even though it was their opponent. This soul skill amplified its own body, and it could even concentrate its powers when faced with a penetrative attack that was focused onto a single point. The devil tiger cat looked like it was having a rough time, and it wasn't able to anything else, but at least it managed to avoid the broken devil of light boring through its brain. Three pitch black cauldrons appeared beside the devil tiger cat at this crucial moment. Ear-splitting chiming sounds accompanied vigorous ripples as they assaulted the devil tiger cat's body. Xia gave no quarter. Hua Yuao switched positions with Wang Dong after his attack. His golden pupils immediately became emerald green, and the temperature of the air plunged with him at the very center. His body began to emanate a subtle aura of desolation. Emerald green light shimmered from his bones. This time, it extended to his left arm, and every single inch of that green color congregated towards his chest. Terrifying ultimate power erupted at this very moment. The devil tiger cat was tied down as it defended itself against the lethal power of the broken devil of light. The protective layer of green light dimmed from the cauldron's quaking trembles effects, and the broken devil of light drilled inwards with increasing speed. This was his best chance at dealing a final blow. The heavenly emperor's hammer was the optimal choice. However, martial soul fusion skills could only be used once within 3 days, and today was only their first day inside the Great Stardow Forest. It was better to conserve their martial soul fusion skills if they could help it. Therefore, Hua Yuao opted for another of his powerful soul skills. This was a soul skill that he could barely handle after breaking through to rank 30 during his closed door cultivation. An emerald green pillar of light discharged from his chest. The air all around the beam appeared to solidify wherever it touched, to the point where a white ice pillar glimmered in the space behind the green light pillar before it crashed to the ground and shattered into pieces. This was because the air in the forest was relatively moist and humid, but that extreme coldness was the more substantial reason. It was also green in color, but it was a different type of energy. The radiance that had resisted the broken devil of light finally crumbled as the emerald beam of light smashed against it. The broken devil of light was left with about 30% of its power, and it pierced right through the protective layer. The devil tiger cat could only tilt its head to the side so that its forehead didn't take the brunt of the attack. However, the broken devil of light drilled right through. A layer of golden light immediately appeared on its head, and these golden hues continued creeping down its entire body. However, this 10,000-year devil tiger cat didn't scream in agony at all. Its body had been completely frozen. Ice Empress Wrath, Hua Yuao's most powerful soul skill. This was one of the 2 powerful soul skills that came with the Ice Jade Empress Scorpion's bones. It had appeared once during the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Soul Dueling Tournament, and it now appeared once more. Still, it consumed the rest of Hua Yuao and Wang Dong's soul power. If he were the only one using it, and if he activated it when he was at his peak condition, he would have consumed at least 90% of his soul power. The power of the Ice Empress Wrath was terrifying, and the devil tiger cat had been completely frozen into a statue. Chilly air emanated from its body, and every single plant within 10 meters of the ice statue transformed into a patch of ice. The scene was rather spectacular, as transparent ice crystals permeated the entire area. Xia withdrew her 3 lives soul crush cauldron and shivered. It's so cold. Your ultimate ice is so frightening, Yuao. Hua Yuao and Wang Dong sat down on the ground, exhausted. It seemed as if they won the battle without suffering any conspicuous losses, but they had actually given everything they had. The golden road was used. Wang Dong's most powerful soul skill, the broken devil of light, was used along with his golden light, and Hua Yuao activated the Ice Empress Wrath as well as the Ice Empress Pincer. This was already excluding his spiritual detection sharing and his spiritual shock. They were one of Shrek Academy's most talented groups, and they barely squeezed out a win after giving everything they had. Furthermore, the devil tiger cat that was frozen like a statue wasn't dead yet. However, its blood had been frozen, and it was almost impossible for it to break out of its solid ice prison that resembled the manifold mysterious ice. If something didn't melt the ice from the outside within an hour, it would eventually lose its life. Hua Yuao and Wang Dong glanced at each other. They weren't elated after defeating the devil tiger cat, and their brows were tightly furrowed instead. Hua Yuao said, "Seems like our original decision was wrong. This world follows the law of the jungle, and mercy will bring even more dangers and perils." Wang Dong's spirit was even more affected, and he nodded his head lightly but said nothing. Hua Yuao grasped his shoulder and said, "Don't be dejected. How would we have known that such a thing would happen if we didn't try? This is probably an important experience in the process of growing up." Wang Dong snapped his head around and replied, "Did you think about what happened to it when it took a direct hit from our golden road?" His left arm's golden light began to work its magic as he spoke, and triggered the remaining Haodong power within their bodies to recuperate their soul power. Hua Yuao nodded his head faintly. "I thought of something. My spiritual detection blanketed the entire battlefield. When the shadow appeared above the devil tiger cat's head, I could feel that it had completely lost control of its body, or that it had lost consciousness. We aren't able to hit soul beasts directly with the golden road, but it seems like we can strip them of their spirit. This is the reason why it took several seconds to recuperate after the shadow returned to its body, but it was clear that it had been weakened. It was also conspicuously slower, and that's why it unleashed its most powerful soul skill to fight us till the end." Wang Dong eyed him with an astonished look. "If your guess is correct, I wonder what would have happened if we had attacked its spirit after it appeared." Hua Yuao's body shattered, and his eyes sparkled with vigorous colors. He slapped himself on the thigh and exclaimed excitedly, "Yes, why didn't I think of that? If we attacked its spirit when it appeared, we could have blown it into smithereens, and it would have become like a zombie. Any living being, as long as it doesn't practice spiritual skills, will become extremely weak when their spirits leave their body. Even if we can't directly destroy its spirit, it will also severely affect its fighting strength once the spirit returns to its body. Your eyes are clearer, Wang Dong." Wang Dong shot him a cold look as he listened to Hua Yuao's enthusiastic analysis. "Take your hand off of my thigh." Hua Yuao suddenly realized that he hadn't slapped his own thigh in his fit of excitement. No wonder he didn't feel any pain at all. He laughed sheepishly and said, Sorry, that was accidental. We have to try that once we can use the golden road again. Others lack the ability to target spirits, but we don't. It's a pity that the golden road can only be activated in a linear direction. If it can have a large area of effect like the spiritual tempest, and we combine these 2 soul skills together, here." Wang Dong rolled his eyes and said, "Quit dreaming. How can we have everything that's good in the world? Our soul skills are strong enough. However, our cultivation is the limiting factor. If we don't have enough soul power to maintain ourselves, what use are our skills if we can't use them? Quickly restore your soul power, and we should leave this place before it becomes completely dark." Xiao's consumption of soul power was the smallest, so she naturally took up the responsibility of protecting everyone. Hua Yuao and Wang Dong immediately began to cultivate beside the ice statue to restore their soul power. Hua Yuao was not worried about the devil tiger cat suddenly escaping from its ice prison. Without someone outside melting it, the devil tiger cat had no hope of breaking out after it had been frozen in ice. There was nothing it could do after it was frozen unless it used its soul power to resist Huo Yuao's attack from the beginning. Wang Dong obtained a greater understanding of his golden light than before. Their recovery process was greatly boosted with the golden light, and they recovered about 30 to 40% of their soul power in the blink of an eye. Elder Sun was casually drinking wine atop a thick branch about 500 meters away from where they were, and a sphere of golden light soundlessly entered his body at this moment. This was the Stardew Forest. Elder Sun was going all out to protect the three of them. The tragedy that had occurred before served as a warning to him. He had the strength to follow the three of them, but his power was beneath the ground. That's why Huo Yuao's spiritual detection couldn't detect him. Elder Sun was also stunned when discovered the 10,000-year devil tiger cat. This devil tiger cat's cultivation was nothing to him, but it was able to kill Huo Yuao and the other two, who were only around rank 30 on average. But Elder Sun wouldn't make his move so easily, having taught in Shrek Academy for years. He wanted to see how the three of them would react when their lives were in danger. He didn't want them to be complacent just because they had protection. The three of them had displayed astonishing strength. Elder Sun only expected the three of them to resist the 10,000-year devil tiger cat's assault for some time, but he knew that they would take the devil tiger cat down successfully, and even capture it alive. Elder Sun hadn't expected such an ending. It was also his first time realizing that the three of them couldn't be judged based on their current cultivation. Even Elder Sun was slightly shocked by the aura of desolation when Huo Yuao used the Ice Empress Wrath. One makes the greatest improvement in a life and death situation. The three of them are good. I shall let them experience what the laws of the jungle are in this Stardew Forest. Their luck seems to be really good. As Elder Sun muttered to himself, a ball of yellow light started to rise from his body. Huo Yuao and Wang Dong's soul power was restored faster and faster. From their depleted state, it only took 15 minutes before they reached 50% of their soul power. Huo Yuao opened his eyes suddenly at this point. How could he not be wary since he was in Stardew Forest, where soul beasts were everywhere? He had continued to use his spiritual detection even though his soul power was greatly depleted. He had only not used the spiritual detection sharing to save his soul power during the process of cultivating with Wang Dong. Only he could sense the changes around him. Another soul beast is coming. His spiritual detection sharing was initiated and used on Wang Dong and Xia Xiao. Wang Dong and Xia Xiao's expressions changed. They were not in their best condition now. They both tensed up as they were given another warning. As Huo Yuao signaled, the three of them walked around the ice-sealed 10,000-year devil tiger cat to one side. Huo Yuao lifted his left hand and pressed it against the devil tiger cat, and as your light flashed across subtly, following that, he waved his hand lightly, initiating his imitation, but he wasn't imitating the aura of any soul beast, but the aura of plants. A layer of dim green light covered the three of them, and they walked further into the forest under his guidance. They tried not to make any noise. The soul beast that Huo Yuao had discovered was not as quick as the devil tiger cat. Rather, it looked a little sluggish and huge. Entirely pitch black bear appeared within his spiritual detection. Its nose kept on moving, as if it was sniffing something. Huo Yuao judged that this was a soul beast that was a few thousand years old from its vigorous energy and undulations of soul power, regardless of its species. It wasn't just an ordinary soul beast. Its cultivation was at least 3,000 years. The huge bear had managed to use its acute olfactory sense to sniff out the location of their previous fight. Its attention was first caught by the ice-sealed devil tiger cat, before it realized the presence of the 1,000-year-old devil tiger cat and went towards it. Huo Yuao used his spiritual detection sharing to share his thoughts with the other two. It seems to be attracted by the bloody smell. This huge bear was more than 3 meters in length. It was very burly, and its black fur seemed to emit a slight golden glow. It didn't seem to be afraid even though it saw the ice-sealed 10,000-year-old devil tiger cat. This was the case in the world of soul beasts. While cultivation was important, the species of the soul beast also determined how strong they were. This bear possessed a cultivation between 3 to 5,000 years, but it wasn't afraid when it faced the 10,000-year devil tiger cat. Two 10,000-year soul beasts of different species still possessed great differences in their abilities. If it were a 10,000-year tiger-type soul beast that was present here, this huge bear would have absconded. It would have never gotten close to it. However, the bear now devoured the 1,000-year devil tiger cat in 2 to 3 bites, but it wasn't full yet. It came before the ice-sealed devil tiger cat and tried to claw at the ice. Its power was extremely frightening. Although Huo Yuao's cultivation couldn't allow him to use his ultimate ice on the ice-sealed devil tiger cat for too long, the frozen ice chunk was still very tough, but the bear managed to claw till cracks appeared on the ice. It's important to know that the entire 10,000-year devil tiger cat was frozen, including its blood. Its body would crack along with the frozen ice chunk if the bear continued to claw at the ice like that. Huo Yuao turned to Xia Xiao at this point. How? Xia Xiao was stunned and asked, "What how?" Huo Yuao replied, "Is this bear suitable to be your soul ring?" Xia Xiao was stunned. "Why would you think of this now? Its cultivation seems to be suitable, but we've only sensed it using your spiritual detection. We haven't seen it. We can't even confirm what soul beast it is. How can we judge whether it's suitable?" Huo Yuao smiled slightly. "I know you plan to supplement the 3-live soul crush cauldron with either a defense type or control type soul skill. This bear didn't even flinch when it saw the 10,000-year devil tiger cat. This means that it's emotionally stable, and therefore tells me that it isn't afraid of the devil tiger cat. Coupled with the fact that the devil tiger cat is offensively threatening, I can conclude that this bear is defensively strong. Furthermore, the devil tiger cat's attacks don't seem to threaten it that much. This bear must come from a species that's rather strong." Xia Xiao opened her eyes wide and said, "Yes. No wonder you're the class monitor. You can analyze so much even without using your eyes." Huo Yuao said, "My main martial soul is both a spiritual and control type. Observation and analysis are my strengths. Make a decision now, or it'll be too late." Xia Xiao said, "Of course I want it. We can't let it go. But can we deal with a soul beast that's unafraid of the devil tiger cat?" Huo Yuao used his actions to answer Xia Xiao's doubts. The bear managed to get the 10,000-year devil tiger cat out after clawing at the ice several times. It lifted the devil tiger cat up and was about to smash it onto the ground. At this point, the devil tiger cat suddenly turned azure green. A reverberating boom resonated across the entire Stardew Forest following that. A vicious bear roar was heard after this. Huo Yuao, Wang Dong and Xia Xiao were 100 meters away, but they still felt a frightening shockwave coming their way. Many plants and trees were instantly destroyed by this shockwave, while the three of them were sent flying for tens of meters before they landed. Fortunately, Huo Yuao's spiritual detection was there to warn them earlier. The three of them had made preparations and took advantage of the situation, thus they were not hurt. It wasn't only Wang Dong and Xia Xiao who were shocked. Even Huo Yuao was stunned for a moment. The frightening shockwave carried some remnants of ice, and the cool feeling caused a chill to travel down everyone's spine. The frightening explosion even caused Huo Yuao's spiritual detection to be scattered, but they didn't need to use it anymore. They could just use their sight now. A frightening scene was presented before them. A huge crater had appeared, with the ice-sealed devil tiger cat at the center. It covered a radius of more than 100 meters. All the plants within this area had disappeared, as they were blown to ashes by the explosion. The center of the depression was more than 3 meters deep, and was semicircular in shape. The plants and trees around this depression had also fallen. It seemed as if there was a collapsed plot of wheat. What situation is this?" Xia Xiao asked as her eyes opened wide in shock. Huo Yuao laughed bitterly. "I didn't expect it to be so ferocious. I used the ice explosion technique on the 10,000-year devil tiger cat just now." Wang Dong was shocked as he asked, "Your ice explosive technique is so powerful?" Huo Yuao replied, "Did the both of you forget? During the top-ranked auction at the Starlight auction place, my Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion-let arm bone was one of the final auction items. It was only inferior to the 100,000-year-old soul beast embryo. That's because the ice explosion technique that it contains is considered a divine skill under the appropriate conditions. But it's useless in certain environments too. Not all ice exploded by this technique will cause such a huge force. Normal ice can be induced to explode by the ice explosion technique, but the explosive force is related to my soul power. It won't be too strong. The real threat of the ice explosion technique is similar to the corpse explosion we saw when we faced that evil soul master. The stronger the corpse being detonated, the greater the explosive force. But 2 prerequisites must be fulfilled first. First, the entire body must be frozen, and it must be filled with water internally. Second, I must come into contact with it using my left arm and inject the strength of the ice explosion technique into its body. The body's own strength will develop a special reaction with the ice under the guidance of the ice explosion technique, and can be induced to explode at any time. The stronger the target, the more frightening the explosive force. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.